Hello everybody, welcome back once again. It's Tony back with you. We're having a look at more fantasy, high fantasy and sword and sorcery films out of my collection. I hope you're enjoying it up to now. I'm enjoying showing you what I've got. We've got 5 more for today. The first one being a really weird one that Scream Factory put out in about 2001, I think. One of the guys from the US sent me this one over. I think it was either Brad or Alan. I'm not 100% sure, but it was one of them, but it was a very nice one. Sword and the Sorcerer. Odd film. Odd film to put it on 4K. A bizarre film. Another film, obviously, that covers the old VHS art from back in the day. Art like that does one thing, it makes you want to watch a film. You know that film's going to be shit when it's got artwork that's that good. This is one that it's okay if you know the film. Going into it blind, you might watch it and go, "What the hell was that?" It's a bizarre film. It doesn't really make much sense. It's all over the show, sort of like timeline. It wants to be in the here and now, like medieval, and it wants to be sort of out the fantasy sword and sorcery, but it tries to combine the two and it doesn't sort of work. But it's really, really nice that someone decided to give it a treatment that they did do, to put it into 4K, you know what I mean? Even high-end Blu-ray would have done me of this, but to get a 4K of it, you know what I mean? It does look phenomenal. If you've never seen it, I would say stream it first. Other than them just running out and buying it, unless you can get it dead cheap. But I would suggest watching it. It will not be everybody's cup of tea, because like I say, what you see on the front there is definitely not what you get. So that was Sword and Sorcerer. Everybody that watches my channel, everybody that's watching these videos, and everybody's going to watch this video will 100% know that this is my favourite film of all time, and that is Hawk the Slayer. Yes, it's cheesy. Yes, it's low budget. Yes, the acting's goddamn awful in it. Yes, where it was filmed looked like it was filmed in the woods at the back of my house. But it's an absolute fucking dream of a film. And when Network put this Blu-ray out, because I only had some crappy DVD of it for years, Network put this Blu-ray of it out, I wasn't holding out for much, to be honest. Because you know what I mean, how could they make a film that was as cheap looking as Hawk the Slayer look good? Holy shit, it looks brilliant. It's a peach. It's an absolute peach. The film, again, if you're going to go into this film watching it, know that it's hammy and it's you know what I mean, shit. I mean, it's crazy in the way that some of the actors portray some of the characters in this. That it's complete bonkers. What they were being told by director, I have no idea. Whether they were just making stuff up on the spot, whether they would, Christ knows. The more insight that you get about this film, the more you realise it was a shit show filming it. And they were lucky to get a film at all. They were lucky to get what they got that turned out to be absolutely fucking fantastic on a budget level. It is great, and this Blu-ray shows loads. There's loads of extra features on it. Loads of stuff I'd never ever seen before. A Network blew this out of the water when they dropped this one. If you've never ever seen this, I highly recommend watching it. It's tongue-in-cheek, it is slapstick, but it is really, really good fun. If you can imagine, I mean, this film came out in 1980, so if you can imagine a proper British take, a proper British look on a sword and sorcery film, this is what you get. And the score to this film is like 70s disco funk. It shouldn't work. It shouldn't work at all, but it works tremendously. I mean, they use it in every scene, you know what I mean? It's the only piece of music they have for the entire film, but it's bloody brilliant. And some of the little tricks that they do to get the special effects to work are basically in multiple shots. They've just played it backwards or sped it up, and you can really tell, and it's really noticeable. but it's got charm. It's got charm all the way through it. And if you've never seen it, it's probably one of the best swords, if not the best sword in any sword and sorcery or high fantasy film. The Mind Sword in this is just something else. The original sword sold at the prop store, the auction house sold the original sword for this a couple of years back, and it went for 22,500, which is to think something out of this film made so much money. But yeah, 22.5 grand for the original sword out of this film, and it's a pure work of art. It's pure charm. It oozes class. If you've never seen it, and I could pump this film at you all day long, please go and check out Hawk the Slayer. Next up, 88 film release. 88 do some nice work with this kind of stuff. It's off their Italian classics line, and it is Iron Master. Don't let this front cover fool you. Like I said previously, this was the VHS cover. This got you into it. The film is nothing like this. It's more like the evolution of cavemen than it is a straight up Blade Master sword and sorcery kind of film. Obviously, some boobies though. Obviously, the whole Conan thing had exploded at this point, and they were looking down. Obviously, they needed a barbarian character, and they looked at the artwork that was around the Conan stuff, and what led to the Conan stuff, and they thought, well, yeah, we've got to get that on the front cover. That depiction depicts nothing within the film in any way, shape or form, but it's still a pretty good Italian exploitation film, but it's more based on the evolution of cavemen. So cavemen finding what they can do with fire and iron ore to make steel, and other cavemen have still got bones and wooden clubs. You know what I mean? And it's the progression of cavemen, really. But still a decent film if you've never seen it. Iron Master. Another 88 film release now. And it's Miles O'Keefe again as Ator. I always get confused with this one, whether it's number 3 or number 4. I think Iron Warrior is Ator 4, I think. But probably the better one of the franchise. I think the third one's called Blade Master, or this is the third one. The fourth one's called Blade Master. It's something like that. But Miles O'Keefe playing Ator, a little bit better in this one. Production value steps up a little bit. That artwork I've always loved. Again, that was the VHS art. I own a one-sheet poster of that, an original one-sheet poster of that art, as well as this is a really, really good film. Relatively newish release by 88, and I was getting quite excited thinking that 88 might start picking more stuff like this up, but it seems sporadic now, the release of this on Blu-ray and 4K. Yeah, we've got the Conan Chronicles popping up, and that's really nice that Arrow have decided to put the Conan films out on 4K. But there's other stuff, you know what I mean? I know Red Sonja's had a 4K release and that, but there's other films out there that deserve even just a Blu-ray release. So it was nice to see Iron Warrior when that one popped up. The only thing I didn't like about the release is that crap slipcase. Yeah, that's got awful. You'll see me rant about that on another video that I did. And finally, weird film. I never know what genre to put this in. It feels like a fantasy film. It feels like a sci-fi film. It's all over the show. But it's John Carter of Mars. Personally, I love this film. I think it's really good. It's really entertaining. I think this franchise should have gone bigger. They should have done more with it. But I think because this didn't particularly do that well, Disney thought, fuck it, we're not going to bother with it anymore. But I think it deserved more. I personally think it's a really, really good film. It's really entertaining. It's a good storyline. It travels nicely. It moves along nicely. And I think it deserved more than what it just got with a one standalone film. But if you've never seen John Carter, I definitely check it out. pick it up dirt cheap, this Blu-ray now. It's like £1 in the UK. It's for nothing. So the 5 for this episode were John Carter, Iron Warrior, Iron Master, Hawk the Slayer, and the Sword and the Sorcerer. So guys, thank you very much for watching these videos. If you haven't done so up to now, please give us a like on these videos, it does help. And if you're new to the channel, please think about subscribing. I've got loads of other content on, talking about all this kind of bollocks behind me. And there's loads more in the pipeline up and coming, whether that be live streams, other stuff within my collection. I've got a big poster collection that I want to get round to at some point, and a big book collection that I want to get round filming at some point. So there'll be something for everybody on this channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. Take care. I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.